Korean style stir-fried noodles, packed full of veggies, some stir-fried beef. This one is super simple, but a few little techniques will make it extra special. This is my version of Korean japchae. Okay. This is one of my favorite noodle dishes to order in a Korean restaurant, and for me it seems like a very simple stir-fried noodle dish, but there are a lot of little critical elements here that you want to get just right to make it extra good. And we always want extra good. Well, I do anyway. All right, let's talk about, what are we talking about first? Let's do the beefy part first, and I'm going to make a marinade, which is also going to be our stir-fry sauce, so that's a win. I've got my beef here. I'm just using some strip loin or sirloin steak today. The key is you want it sliced really nice and thin. Now to that I'm going to add some soy sauce and some sesame oil and some sugar. Now just give that a mix. Now, because this is a soy sauce marinade, you really don't need to leave it for long, like literally just while I'm going to prepare everything else. Otherwise it gets too salty and intense. Let's have a look at the vegetables next. And shiitake mushrooms is what I'm going for here. And a lot of you guys have asked me before about how do I clean the dirt off my mushrooms. And for me, washing them under water just gets them all like soggy, and I don't know, I don't like it. So I like to go with a pastry brush and just give them a really good brushing, get any little bits of grime off there. And if you're using dried shiitakes here, they're great to use. You just need to soak them in some hot water first. Whoops, man overboard. We'll just leave that one down there. Casualty, first casualty of the day. Now, whether you're using fresh or dried, I always take the stems off my shiitake mushrooms. I find they're a little tough, so they're not so great to chew on. If you happen to be making a stock anytime soon, you could keep a hold of them, pop them into your stock along with your other vegetables. And I just want to finely slice those. And the other thing I want here is some capsicum. And I want some really nice fine shreds of capsicum. So I'm going to go fairly close to the edge here when I'm cutting off my cheeks of capsicum. And I'll just pop those on a plate with my finely sliced onion. So now for the noodles, and if you are able to get a hold of what's called Korean sweet potato starch noodles, they're the noodles that you want for this one, like typically. But I can't seem to find them here in Bangkok. If anyone knows where to get those particular noodles here in Bangkok, please put that in the comments below. So what I do when I make this dish at home is I use glass noodles or cellophane noodles. These are made out of mung bean, so they have a similar kind of slippery texture to the Korean sweet potato ones. They're not quite as thick. So that's the kind of difference here. The key thing is that these guys will overcook in like a second. So let's be prepared. I've got a bowl with some ice in here, and I've got my boiling water. Now normally I would advocate to soak these and not put them in boiling water, but I'm going to cook my spinach anyway, and I don't want to double up on the amount of energy to boil, you know, 2 lots of water. So we're just going to do it this way, the Danger Mouse way, but be vigilant. Okay, noodles go in, and literally like less than a minute, guys. 30 seconds even. I don't know, there's probably, you guys can probably see on the counter there how long this is. Take it out, take them out right now, and they'll kind of look like they're not quite cooked yet, but that's fine. They're going to keep cooking a little bit, and then we're going to stir fry them as well. So these get really soggy really easily, so definitely don't want to overcook them. All right, straight into the ice, and then just kind of separate them, give them some love, make sure they're nice and cool, and just drain them really well. And now the spinach. So I want a good lot of spinach here. I love this dish because it's got so many vegetables in it, and it's just such a nice, like, healthy weeknight thing to do. So I'm going to trim off the end of that, and then they go straight into the water as well. And again, this is one of those little technical things that, you know, is just much better when you get it right. Don't cook this for ages. Just plunge, take them out. And then you may as well, because you've got it, dunk those in the ice water as well. You're gonna squeeze out that water, and there's our spinach done. All right, so just, you know, even just the colors of everything set up here makes me so incredibly happy. I love a little spread like this, so many vegetables. Ah, great. Now we can get to the stir frying part. I'm gonna use this marinade, as I said before, as my stir fry sauce. So I'm gonna take the beef out of there. Give it a gentle squeeze. And keep that sauce for later. Now when your wok is nice and hot, add in some oil. In goes the beef. And just stir fry this until most of the pink is almost gone. But what I don't want to do is overcook this beef while I'm cooking everything else. So before it's done, I'm going to add in my onion. Now just give the onion like half a minute to do its thing, get a little tender in there. Now don't be tempted to kind of dump everything in. That's when you'll start to get a stir fry that sweats, becomes like very bland because of all the juice that runs out, because the wok or the pan's not staying hot enough. That's why you'll always see me add ingredients kind of one at a time whenever I'm doing a stir fry like this. Now I'm going to add in some garlic, and in go my mushrooms. Now my capsicum, and some shredded carrot, now add in those noodles, and don't be scared, they're going to look like they're kind of all bunched up and clumpy at the moment. That's just what happens when noodles sit around for a little while. The sauce will loosen them up. Trust me. I want my spinach in there too, and that sauce. Now just start tossing everything through, and those noodles will start to loosen up. Oh, see what I mean about all those beautiful, cheerful colours? Such a joy. And if you've treated your noodles right, you should have a very loose looking noodle stir fry. Always treat your noodles nice. Okay, that is looking so good. Now we just get these out onto a plate. And a little sprinkling of sesame seeds at the end. And there you go, guys. A very simple Korean stir-fry noodle dish, but you know, get all those little bits and pieces right, and it really is something, you know, joyous and good and tasty. Let's see how we've gone here. That beef is so tender. Just a really simple mix of vegetables combined with that soy sauce and the garlic and those chewy noodles. I mean, it's the texture of the noodles that you've really got to get right. I mean, that's the key here, right? Look at that, perfectly kind of chewy, not soggy at all.